I'm a huge fan of this color. It almost reminds me of a color Lexus color, or what I wrapped my old Porsche almost. So this front's probably the most controversial part. I think this color actually does it well. I'm pretty sure Hyundai will, tweak it. The regular non-sport ones I do think look better. It almost has like a Lexus-like look. It's all right. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I do like the LED, the little look there. I think the grille is just too small. And there's all the black plastic down there. In black, it might look better as well. Anyway, coming around from that to the side here, I do like the rims on this guy. It has Hankook Ventus S1 Noble 2 tires. They're pretty good. We'll talk about that more in the drive review. I don't think they're pretty much what lets this car down. I kind of like the pattern of those wheels. I think they'd be kind of tricky to keep clean long term. Good profile on this car. Not much on the side except the wheels. Different on the Sport model. Actually, I can't see really anything. Around the back here, you do have a different. You have the spoiler, and I think the LEDs look good back here, and you have some kind of arrow effects down there. And I'll have to get the exhaust for you as well. One thing I noticed on this trunk, I tried the foot thing to see if you could click your foot under there and it would open that way. And I can't find a button. If there is one, let me know down in the comments if I just missed it. I just had to use the remote or the thing in the car to open it, and I'll show you guys that. But yeah, good looking sporty car. I do like this back part quite a lot. All right, let's check out the storage space in the trunk. You get the Sport badging back there. I did miss that earlier as well. I'm able to fit a box back there. There is a small spare tire down there, not a full size. If you want to put your front license plate on, I'm glad they didn't for looks. And then these seats do fold down. It's decent storage space. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the exterior of the car, and let me grab you that exhaust while I'm here. I believe this badging is different or the stamping on here, than the regular Elantra on the Sport. I don't know if this little pattern, let me know in the comments, is there. But now let's check out this interior. I think the black was actually a good color choice on here. It kind of hides some of the plastics, fairly well. And this is a nice soft touch material here. Definitely, I would say the plastics on this one aren't quite up there with like the Civic or something like that, but it's a nice place. They got this carbon fiber look kind of material going throughout the interior here. Pretty standard there. This, unlike on the Elantra Limited, which you can get the smart cruise control where it'll like follow, this will only like pull you back in your lane. As far as I could tell, it would not actually steer you when you activate that. There's this button here. It comes with like blind spot monitoring, which is pretty cool. You can adjust the brightness, things like that. This one does have the premium package. You get a lot of upgrades with the premium. I'd almost recommend that if you could afford the $2,000 or $2,200. You get the bigger screen here. I believe you do get the Infinity sound system, which is pretty nice. You get a center channel and like a subwoofer with that. It's a pretty decent system as well. And I think you probably get the nav with that as well. Although this has CarPlay and Android Auto, so you probably don't need the nav as much, but it's kind of nice it's there. And then these gauges are nice, and clear, easy to read. Hyundai does a nice job there, kind of sporty. One thing I hadn't seen before, obviously this is your coolant temperature. A lot of cars, like sportier cars, will show like your oil temperature and stuff. This one though shows your transmission temperature. I don't know if that has to do with that dual clutch, which is, maybe that gets warmer. Like I said, I hadn't really seen that on a lot of other cars, as my driving is kind of right in the middle there, so that's good, I suppose. Usually I'm on the more aggressive side of things, but I was just on the highway coming up to the lake here, so probably a little bit less aggressive because of that. That was kind of my highway. MPGs were about 38, 39, which is above what they said. We'll talk more about that in the drive review. And then the average is about 27. In town is like 26 or so. So really not bad on the MPGs, things like that. Dual zone climate control is pretty easy to use. I really do like these seats. They got the Sport and the logo in there and the red trim. And they actually have some more bolstering as well here. It's actually pretty deep, and it holds you in quite nicely. In back there is room for 2 6-feet people without a problem. It's a decent place to spend time. It's gonna be a little tight actually if you're like right at or over 6 feet, but I do fit back there and am comfortable and whatnot. More of this trim over here, kind of extends all the way around there. I do like this steering wheel. It's got the red in there. It's kind of got a flat bottom here, which is nice. Red stitching up in there. It's got these little grip points here too. So I do like the sport specific steering wheel. I think that's probably better than the regular one, at least in my opinion. Things like that. You get a moonroof, and then of course Hyundai's, driver assist system, things like that. Down here you do get 2 of these. I'd almost wish you get 2 USB over that. This is for the USB, and then you get 2 volt down there, and you do get a nice deep console. Sorry, it's a little dirty. I don't think it was clean when I got the car. It could have been something I did. And then you get this down here. I thought this was actually another one of those, but it's actually USB and stuff like that. And then you get 2 cup holders here, and there's actually room for cup holders and some extra storage down in the doors there for practicality. And there's those metal pedals down there, which give it a nice sporty look. Also, I believe that's exclusive to the Sport trim. Exhaust note, let me see if I can, right around there, you kind of only can hear it when you're moving. It's something with the engine and the exhaust and the dual clutch, the way it goes around like 2,000 RPM or whatever. You get a nice kind of burbly sound. All right, so on to the drive review, which, since this is the Sport model, should be, pretty interesting. I actually, when I drove the 17, I believe, Elantra Limited a few years ago, I actually said it's honestly one of the best little luxury cars kind of in that category, because it had so many features back then, and it was very nice inside and things like that. So when I was getting the Sport, I was just kind of thinking, oh, is it going to be like the Civic Sport, where it just kind of looks a little sportier, things like that. Suspension-wise, I did know it had a different rear suspension, and the suspension was damped and tuned differently, all around as well. For stiffer. It doesn't feel a lot stiffer or bumpier or anything than the Elantra Limited I drove that I remember. So good job to Hyundai there. You definitely can feel it's more athletic though, especially when you're going through turns, which also has to do with they changed the steering. I think the biggest thing though, one of my critiques of the Elantra Limited was kind of the engine felt a little lackluster when I drove it. So I really did want to check out this turbo engine when I learned it existed. It's very peppy, very snappy. The dual clutch is pretty quick to shift. I do have to say though, the paddles, if you want to downshift, they're good, but for a dual clutch, it's not slow to shift up, but there's definitely like a noticeable gap there. And there's a little bit right when you get on the engine too, where the turbo has to like spool up or whatever. But it's a pretty quick car, and I do have to say, I beat both in town and on the highway all the efficiency numbers Hyundai quoted, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm sure that has something to do with they had the controversy where they weren't meeting their numbers a while back and had to like give people like fuel gift cards and stuff like that. So I'm sure now they're probably on the other end of the spectrum and they're conservative. So would I buy this with my own money? Most Hyundais I do like, and I think they're good, solid, all-around cars, giving Toyota like a run for their money. But I wouldn't necessarily be in the class to buy them, except maybe the Veloster N spec. This is another Hyundai that, if I just wanted something small and sporty and was shopping like a Civic Si or like a Mazda 3, this would warrant my consideration, especially if I like the Hyundai styling you saw earlier and things like that. And I do think price-wise, it brings a lot to the table there. Let me know down in the comments any thoughts or questions you have. But yeah, overall, I do like the improvements they made with the engine. The steering's better, and the suspensions, they did a good job as well. It's not like a sports car per se, but it's definitely sporty, and you can tell, it's kind of fun to put around corners and stuff like that.